I'm joined today by Neil Whitfield, who is the author of The Ultimate Property Listing, a book that helps estate agents get more listings through their brochures. How can writing good property descriptions get you more listings and sell more houses? Talk to me, Neil.
I think one of the key things about Rightmove, for a start, is you get the 250 characters in the search results. And that's why I wrote the Ultimate Property Listing specifically to help agents who advertise on Rightmove. At the minute, at the time of recording, Zoopla on the market only have pictures in the search results, whereas Rightmove, you get what I call the short description. And it would be fair to say, if you had a look at the majority of the short descriptions in your town, most of them would be written in a way that could be improved upon. That's the polite way of putting it. Certain agents will do the standard blah-de-blah estates are proud to be instructed and bring to the market, which I've done the maths, and that wastes about 170 of the 250 characters. So I'm a firm believer that how you do one...
Wait, does anyone read these stuff?
The short descriptions, yes, they do. A lot of the time I've had criticism from agents saying, oh, nobody reads the full description. And my response to that is most people don't. And that's partially because they're being conditioned not to, because most full descriptions are boring and rubbish and, quite frankly, a waste of time. But what I can guarantee is that someone who's interested in the property and it thinks that it's likely to be solving their problems will read it twice or more. And you're writing the full description for them, not for the people just mindlessly scrolling on a Sunday evening because they've seen that episode of Vera.
So it's the classic quantity versus quality argument.
Yeah, so I think the short description has got one job. It's to get the click.
Just like the CV gets the job, gets the interview,
yeah,
not the job.
Exactly, yeah. So you need to use those 250 characters in the short description to basically, what I talk about in the book is the ideal buyer or tenant needs to read those 3 lines and go, that's me.
Give me some, come on, let's have some value out of you. You've come down from Sunderland. I want something in return. You're costing me money to sit there. Give me some value back.
So
I know people can get this book free of charge, but come on, give me some value.
So, classic example of, don't just talk about, the property is 0.7 miles from the business park. If you think about who, and I'm using an example of a rental property, but the same could apply to a for sale property. If you're trying to attract a tenant who might be a young professional, don't say 0.7 miles from the business park. Say you can have an extra half an hour in bed. So it actually translates what the location or the property can do for them into something that actually is meaningful.
It's this classic feature and benefits.
Well, it is, yeah. I mean, it's classic marketing that goes back hundreds of years. So, rather than saying in a very blunt sort of fashion, young professionals who work at the business park, you say that, but through the actual benefit that you get. So that all those people who are just scrolling, that'll jump out. It won't put off those people who it's not relevant for, but those people who it is relevant for, immediately their brain, it's a bit like when you buy a certain type of car and then immediately you see lots of other cars on the road.
Yes,
it's not there's any more.
They were always there.
They're always there, but your brain is suddenly just picking up on it.
Reticular vision. There you go.
It is. Because if you didn't have that, and if you didn't have that filtering, your head would explode with the amount of different senses and stimuli that you've got. So someone reading that, even very quickly scrolling through, that'll jump out to them. They will then click. That short description has done its job then. What you need to do with the full description is add to that and create, a compelling reason to arrange the viewing.
What other bonuses are there on top of attracting the right tenant or right buyer with the good descriptions?
Well, it's absolutely powerful in attracting vendors and landlords, because it's a way of demonstrating your point of difference.
And the fact you care, that you go.
You care, you go the extra mile. You know, I think as more people are getting their photography better, either through being trained to do it themselves or using.
If you think about it, now the differentiations a few years ago was good photos.
Yeah.
There aren't that many places now for differentiation, so we're going back to the words.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the key things is that most agents aren't that switched on. So the bar is quite low. And what I talk to a lot of my clients about when they come on board for me to write their listings, more often than not, the initial inquiry will be, do you write listings for expensive houses? And I go, yep. And I also write listings for cheap ones too. And I think if you're doing this to get the secondary benefit of going the extra mile, having that point of difference, having a well-written listing for a 2-bedroom flat or terrace will stand out far more than your 6-bedroom detached gated luxurious thing.
Because you kind of expect it on the big stuff.
Because the bar is set so much higher, it is that expectation. Whereas to have well-written stuff for, you know, a 70 grand terrace or flat or something like that, it absolutely stands out. And if you can be consistently seen to do that for every single property, it does take time. I know from clients who I've been working with for years, it takes time for that to filter through. But it then becomes a selling point, which not only attracts landlords, but it's really powerful in commanding a better than bargain basement fee as well.
Go. And that's one of the biggest challenges of a estate agency at the moment. Neil, thank you for your time today.
Thanks, Chris.